Start your week with a triple shot of good vibes. This is the Project Joy podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. Thanks for joining me.
Good morning, everyone, and now it's time for this week's story of joy. So last week, it was not good. It was not good. I was doing okay at the beginning of the week, and then about halfway through the week, so around Thursday night, I got really sick all of a sudden, and many people that know my story know that that it has really been a challenge for me working with different health issues and things like that. And so it's really frustrating for me because I've made so many amazing steps forward that when I have these moments where I don't feel well, it puts me in a not good place, because it's not even, for me, it hasn't been even so much about the not feeling well. It's the added in frustration of, when you take two steps forward and then a step back, and it's frustrating. And so my complete joy this morning is feeling better, and I know that many people can relate to that rush, that relief when you're on the other side of whatever it is that you're going through, whether it is a physical issue like an illness, or emotional issue, or an actual situation even where you're having a really difficult time. It can be really frustrating in those moments to find the joy. If you're feeling completely physically out of it, I can tell you from experience that it's so human to be able to find difficulty in looking for the joy in those moments. And so my complete joy today is being on the other side of it. And it's always nice to have that relief on the other side of things, and feel better, because who doesn't want to feel better, right? We're going to be back in just a minute for more of the Project Joy podcast.
What's up, everyone? It's Jessica here, your host of the Project Joy podcast and, of course, the Breakthrough Show. I want to take a moment and thank all of our supporters here at the show. With your financial support, we are able to expand the show and reach more people with the hopes of inspiring our audience members to change their lives for the better and know they are supported during times of breakthrough. We welcome our one-time contributions to our show by sending a PayPal to business@thebreakthroughshow.com, or you can join us at patreon.com/thebreakthroughshow, where you'll be rewarded for your regular contribution with things like our exclusive community, Soul Connection Collective, merchandise discounts, fun shoutouts on the show, and more. On behalf of everyone here at the Breakthrough Show and its network, we thank you for your generous support. And now back to the podcast.
Welcome back to the Project Joy podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and I'm so excited to be here with you for another episode today. So it is July 27th. It is episode 28 of the show, and we are back with another installment of the Joy in Story series today. And it's a special one for me because I'm really excited to have my son Clay here with us today. He is the oldest of my 6 children, and my only adult child, which is a fun time. Is it a fun time?
For me, yes, but maybe not for you.
the recognition there, you guys. No, I really, it's something that I was talking to someone about the other day, because no matter what age group your child is at, whether it's a newborn baby or a toddler, or going up in school, or teenager going into adulthood, all of this stuff, there's challenges that go along with all of these things. But my joy in the stage that you're at now is getting to see what like where you're going and what you're doing, and really being able to relate with you on a different level, because you're an adult now and we can talk about things that maybe we couldn't talk about before. And it brings me so much joy to find, you know, you understanding suddenly things that maybe you didn't understand before. And if you guys are on podcast form listening to this right now, or one of our podcast platforms, you need to go back and find the video version of the podcast today so you can see the my son speaks with his face like I do. So we have that in common. We have that in common. So tell everybody a little bit about what brings you joy in your life. What are some things, what does joy even mean to you?
That's a that's a complicated question.
That seems to be the thought by everyone that I have on the Joy and Story series, that it's not as easy as, oh, this brings me joy, or this is what joy means to me.
Joy really just makes things easier, like emotionally. Like life can be freaking horrendous, honestly, and without joy, like imagine all the bad places people would be in,
Mm.
like depression, anxiety. Without joy, like people honestly wouldn't get through it. I know I wouldn't.
Mm. Very true. Do you think that, you know, one of the things that we talk about on the show is um, being intentional about creating joy in your life? Do you think that that's important, or do you think joy just happens?
100%. Yeah. People need to actually look for joy to receive it.
Mm, I like that. You may have gotten that from somewhere. Well, I wanted to, the reason why I asked you to be on today is because um, I wanted, you just graduated high school, and in a time like this in 2020 where it's different. It's a very, very different world than when I graduated. And it makes me very emotional to think about that because, you know, things were, it was different then. There was, I mean, no one in this lifetime has gone through something like we've gone through in 2020 with the pandemic and a lot of the other things that are going on. And so it's sad for me to think about you becoming an adult in a world where things are closed. There's a lot of divide in the world right now on many extremely hot button issues, and I imagine that this is going to be a time in your life where you must create and find joy in order to get through. But what does it feel like to you? Like, how hard is it for you to be able to find joy right now in quote unquote going off into the world in a time like we're in?
I guess like I really have to rely on my family most of the time. They bring me some of the most joy I can possibly feel. Really puts a I guess really puts a perspective on like how I see myself feeling
Mm.
happier and more joyful. Like I don't know if I would be like I said, it's a complicated question.
Do you think though that it's, you know, obviously like it would have been an optimal situation if you had graduated and run out to get a job or to decide what you want to do immediately? Do you think that it's been helpful for you to have less pressure from us as far as like you must go out right now, because obviously we're being a little more cautious about that because of everything that's going on out in the world.
I guess it's because you guys aren't pressuring
Mm.
me to get a job, start a life of my own. I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Mm. Yeah, it's a different I think there's two sides of that, right? Because you have one side where it's like, hey, you've got the freedom and the time and the energy to really take the time and discover that. Whereas when I graduated, and I know a lot of people that I graduated with felt that immediate pressure of figure it out right now, or you're never going to go anywhere kind of thing. And so I imagine that it can be frustrating. I imagine the frustration that you feel as well of not having that pressure, because so it's kind of like we need to find a happy medium, right?
Exactly.
Between what's going on. So how what are some of the things that you do to help? I know you mentioned the family, and honestly, like you know, because you're the oldest of six, that it's like a constant sitcom around here. That there's a lot of joy and laughter. Well, we can say that much. But what are some of the other things that you do that you enjoy at your age, that bring you joy?
Gaming, just
Mm.
the gaming community in general, even with the whole pandemic, it never split apart.
Mm.
We are able to connect online, and the feeling of not being alone, even even in our big house, sometimes we can feel that.
Yep, yep.
Online, it all changes. We're able to connect with other people no matter the distance.
Mm. Yeah, it's I love that, because and I found the same thing in my communities with doing the show, doing the podcast, and doing the breakthrough show, and the Patreon community that we have, as part of the network. It's been fantastic, and really nothing has changed other than the course of conversation a little bit. Everybody's talking about the masks and the virus and all of this stuff, and so the conversation has changed a little bit, but we're all still here. We're it's the same thing. And there are a lot of people though who are not happy about this. There are a lot of people who have not been online. They don't like this idea of connecting this way. Do you find that it's the same joy for you whether you're connecting with someone face to face or through the is it the same kind of joy? It's just a different avenue.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
The same. It's the same feeling of feeling connected. Like I feel the same thing when I'm giving someone a handshake or a hug as I would sending like a funny gift to a friend.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. It's a different world. It's a different world. We didn't have that when I when I graduated. We didn't know what was a gift. We didn't have a gift. We didn't have social media even then. We the little attempts we had at forums and things like that were so like just clunky and very difficult to use, and it was just a different time. It was a different time. And so I think that a lot of what you're saying today about finding joy is really finding that balance too between um you know embrace take the time to embrace a little bit more the online world, the digital world, and also find ways that you can maybe create um boundaries and a schedule and things that can help keep you on track, because it can be more difficult, right, to get that focus and that drive when it's like you're at home and there isn't those expectations, and all of that. So um, I hope that you continue. You've always been one that has one of our children who's always been a little bit of a deeper thinker. Very Gemini of you, and to do that, and to think about all of the different things, and I hope that you see the joy in that too, and exploring all the possibilities, and to think beyond what you see on the surface. That's something that brings me joy, is seeing your ability to do that. So I hope that you don't lose that quality and continue with that as well. And I know that you are also working on wanting to do some voice acting, and going to be working on your portfolio for that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. What are some of those things that if you had a dream project that would bring you the most joy in voice acting, what kind of project would that be?
Something with animation, a goofy character that I can really get into.
Mm.
Like like the genie from Aladdin.
Mm.
Something like that.
That's a great example, and that's some big shoes to fill there with with Robin Williams,
Yeah.
right? But he was a master at that. He was a master, and it's a great. See, you do have something to work for and to strive for, and to find your joy in, right? So make sure that you guys look at the show notes for a way to connect with Clay. If you know someone who knows someone who knows someone who's doing an animation project and wants to connect with an up and coming voice actor, be sure to check out the show notes. Thank you for being here today, my son.
It's been lovely.
All right, guys, we'll be back in just a minute for more of the Project Joy podcast.
Did you know that the Breakthrough Show not only has its show every Friday, but that our Facebook page is home to other shows just like this Project Joy podcast that we like to call Breakthrough Extras? You can tune in to our next Breakthrough Extra by joining Shiraz for Rewriting Reality at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern today, Monday, as in this afternoon, and every last Monday of the month. During this live show, you'll be able to call into the provided phone number, click the link to video chat, or use the comments section to review your beliefs, revise your stories, and rewrite your reality. You'll be able to watch him help you and others go to your core beliefs and destroy them like magic. Find out more information at thebreakthroughshow.com or tune in live today at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, and every last Monday at facebook.com/breakthroughshow or click the link in the show notes. And now back to the podcast.
Welcome back to the Project Joy podcast with your host, Jessica Dugas. I want to give a big thank you today to my son, Clay Dugas, for joining us for another installment of Joy in Stories. Just a reminder that these Joy in Stories episodes happen the last Monday of every single month, where you can hear about what brings others joy in their lives instead of just hearing from me, and that's a lot of fun. So be sure to tune in the last Monday of every month for another Joy in Stories installment. So next week on the Project Joy podcast, we're going to be talking about joy in warmth. And you may think that this is something that would be simple and easy for everybody to find joy in, but it actually has not been really easy for me. I am very cold. I'm a hot natured person, and so I really enjoy the cold, and for a lot of different reasons. But I will share a little bit about some finding the joy in warmth, which of course will touch on finding the joy in things that maybe are difficult for you to find the joy in. So be sure you tune in next Monday for that episode. I want to thank everyone for listening or watching today. I really appreciate you. Please take a moment to rate, subscribe, comment, and share where available. And until next week, make joy a priority in your life today and every day. We'll see you next time.
have been listening to the Project Joy podcast with your host, Jessica Dugas. We'll see you again next Monday and every Monday for another episode to start your week off right.